What's up guys, and welcome to my Yao Guang pre-release guide. In this video I'm going to be taking you over Yao Guang's Kin Islands, Lightcone recommendations, Relic Stats, and Ornament recommendations, and then the stats you want to run on them alongside the substat recommendations. Yao Guang's basic attack will deal physical damage based off her attack to a designated enemy and its adjacent targets, and will also increase the energy regenerated from basic attack to 30. Her skill deploys a zone for 3 turns, and the duration of the zone will be reduced by 1 at the start of the unit's turn. While the zone is active, it will increase everyone's elation by an amount equal to 20% equal to Yao Guang's elation, and after using basic attack or skill, Yao Guang will gain 3 punchline. Her ultimate will gain 5 punchline and immediately give Aha an extra turn, where the fixed amount of punchlines will be 20 taken into account. This extra turn doesn't consume punchline and will increase all allies alt-type res pen by 20% for 3 turns. Her talent: when Yao Guang possesses Certified Banger, after an allied target uses an attack, it will trigger the Great Boon effect, which will deal an additional instance of 20% elation damage equal to the corresponding type to a random enemy hit, and if in that attack you consume skill points, it will additionally trigger the Great Boon effect 1 time. When triggering Great Boon, if the attacker's elation is lower than Yao Guang's, the instance of elation damage will instead use Yao Guang's elation for calculation, and triggering Great Boon is not considered as using an attack. For her elation skill, when you do proc it will inflict Woe's Whisper on all enemies for 3 turns. It will increase damage received by enemies who have Woe's Whisper by 16%, and then will deal physical elation damage to all enemies, and afterwards will deal physical elation damage as well to a random enemy 5 times. Her technique automatically allows Yao Guang to trigger skill at the start of the next battle without consuming a skill point, and when Yao Guang is on the team, breaking destructible objects immediately grants Fortune Pouch up to 8 within every Earth week. For her traces, her A2, when Yao Guang's speed is 120 or higher, increases the unit's elation by 30%, and for every 1 speed exceeding, will increase this unit's elation by 1%, up to 200 points of excess speed will be taken into account. Her A4 will increase the unit's crit damage by 60%, after using elation skill, it recovers 1 skill point for the team, and her A6, when Yao Guang obtains Certified Banger, the duration will increase by 1 turn. For Eidolons, her E1 will increase the fixed amount of punchline taken into account by the Aha's ultimate triggered extra turn to 40, and the elation damage dealt by all allied targets will ignore 20% of the target's defense. Her E2 will increase the entire team's speed by 12% and additionally increase elation by 16% when the zone is active. Her E4, in Aha's extra turn triggered by Yao Guang's ultimate, the damage dealt by all allied characters' elation skills become 150% of the original damage. And her E6, all allies' elation damage Mary makes by 25%, increases the damage multiplier of Yao Guang's elation skill by 100% of the original multiplier. Now for Lightcones, as unfortunately elation is new, there's not many options, but one of her best option, and her actual best option by far, is her signature Lightcone, providing the wearer 18% speed. When the wearer enters combat or uses ultimate on an allied target, the wearer gains Great Fortune for 3 turns. While the wearer has Great Fortune, all allies' crit rate increases by 10% and crit damage increases by 30%, and the wearer's energy regeneration rate increases by 12%, and at the start of each wave, the wearer regenerates a fixed amount of 15 energy. This Lightcone is extremely stacked. Not only is it increasing the wearer's speed, which is fantastic for Yao Guang as you want to build her as much speed as possible. At the same time, you're now able to increase the entire team's crit rate by 10% and crit damage by 30%, which is very nice extra stats, which works extremely well with her best teams, which is going to be full elation teams, because they actually are able to do more damage based off crit. And it also does increase the wearer's energy regen rate, so you can help get ultimate quicker, since Yao Guang does have a very steep ultimate requirement of 180. And also, at the start of each wave, you will regenerate a 15 amount of fixed energy, which is actually the reason you're able to ult right away. Without this Lightcone, if Yao Guang was the first character and the first thing to act in a battle, if you were to attack, basic attack, or skill, doesn't matter, and you did that, without this Lightcone, you will actually not have enough to be able to ult. So someone on the team has to either provide energy or you have to get hit. With this Lightcone, you actually are able to proc ultimate right away. So with everything this Lightcone is providing for not only Yao Guang herself, being the speed and energy, and also obviously getting the buffs and also increase energy regen rate, but also just a crit buff for your entire team, it makes this far and none the best option. Of course, none of the actual Lightcones I'm going to mention is available, but this Lightcone, when it is available, today's good luck would be another option to use. 4-star will increase the wearer's crit rate by 12%, and when the wearer uses elation skill, increases elation by 12%, stacking up to 2 times, and at S5, it's 20% crit rate and 20% elation. So whenever you are able to have access to this Lightcone, S1 or S5, it is good because Yao Guang does also want to be built with crit. It helps you with some crit ratio there. And increasing elation is good because that can further increase the team's elation, since she is able to increase elation based off her own. So getting an increase to elation is nice, which makes this a usable option as well. Mushy Shroomies Adventures also does work, which also increases the wearer's elation by 12%. And after the wearer uses elation skill, increases elation damage taken by all enemies by 6% for 2 turns. And at S5, it's 20% increase to elation with 10% increased elation damage. So again, increasing elation is good for not only her own damage, but also the team's damage, as she is able to increase the team's elation. And now anytime you do use her actual elation skill, she's able to make enemies take more elation damage, so elation vulnerability, which is the main form of damage anyways for elation teams. So it's just going to make people, when they do use their elation skills, do more damage, making this another option to use. And if you end up having access to none of those, you can just use a 3-star Lightcone Steering, which when Aha Instant is active, the wearer's elation increases by 16%, lasting until it ends, and then it becomes 32% at S5. So it really just increases the elation for that instance. It's not going to be as good as the others, of course, but it is a usable option nonetheless. And then for Relic Stats, her best in slot is unfortunately not available as I'm uploading this, but it will be available once the 4.0 update goes live, called the Diviner of Distant Reach, which 2-piece increases speed by 6%, 4-piece before entering combat if the wearer's speed is greater than or equal to 120/160, increases the wearer's crit rate by 10%/18% when the wearer uses elation skill for the first time in each battle, enhances all allies' elation by 10% and cannot stack. 2-piece is great, it increases speed, helps you hit higher speed thresholds, and then the restriction of this relic set is to hit 160 speed. Which Yao Guang again wants to be built with as much speed as possible. 160 is going to be the bare minimum you want to hit anyways. For a hyperspeed build, if you're able to get more than that, that's going to be better, but nonetheless 160 is your bare minimum goal anyways. Now once you hit that goal, you get 18% crit rate for Yao Guang herself, which is very good for building her as a sub DPS since she also does damage at the same time. And the first time you use elation skill, whether that be a little after the first turn you get, maybe if you don't have the light cone, or if you have the light cone and you're able to ult right away, then boom, you will be able to increase the entire team's elation by 10% for the rest of the battle. So this is the set you do want to put on Yao Guang. The only other 4-piece you can really use is 4-piece Hackerspace. 2-piece also increases speed by 6%. 4-piece when the wearer uses their ultimate on an ally. Speed for all allies increases by 12% for one turn and cannot be stacked. Same thing as I mentioned, for speed thresholds, 6% speed is going to be nice, and then the 4th-piece can increase everyone's speed when using ultimate. I will say now this is still overall inferior to just using 2-piece speed and 2-piece speed in this case, just because Yao Guang doesn't really get her ultimate super quickly. So after the first turn you use it, boom, and the next time you act, the buff will wear out, and then you will have to wait a little bit to actually get it back. But 12% speed is nice. Of course, it's going to be higher than running 2-piece speed and 2-piece speed. But again, just getting the buff again is going to be a bit difficult, but this is really the only other 4-piece you can use. So if you want to use 4-piece or you just happen to have a really good set with it, then you can use it in the meantime. Other than that, you really just want to run 2-piece speed and 2-piece speed. So 2-piece Hackerspace with 2-piece Relieved Ordeal, or one of those with 2-piece Warrior Goddess. Nothing else is really recommended unless it's a survivability stat like 2-piece Longevious or 2-piece of like the guard set. Just for survivability, as I mentioned, because a lot of things don't really work with Yao Guang. Attack percent will only increase her actual basic attack. Her elation damage isn't affected by that. The only way to increase her elation damage outside of battle would be more speed. And damage percent also doesn't impact elation whatsoever, so do not run damage percent as well. Planar Ornaments are also relatively limited. You mainly just want to give her a supportive set for someone she can work with. I'm going to guess eventually in a later update there's going to be one that's going to be tailor-made for her, or at least Elation Sports, but for now you can give her any supportive set that works alongside another Elation character. As the only one we're going to have is Sparksy, I'm going to use her as an example, so Lushaka can be good. 5% energy regen rate for the wearer and 12% attack for the character positioned first in the team lineup, so in this case it would be for Sparksy. Or if you're just using her on any other team, just make sure the person getting the buff here actually does benefit from the attack. Same thing with Keel if they benefit from crit. This set gives 10% effect res, and reaching 30% or higher gives everyone 10% crit damage, which also does impact Yao Guang herself, so a bit of extra damage there. So if the DPS you're running her alongside also does benefit from crit, you can run this. Don't run Penacony just because it provides damage, and that's not going to be good for any other Elation character, as again, it doesn't work. And Ageless, you can actually run Ageless. It gives 12% max HP and 8% attack when reaching 120 speed or higher for the entire team, so as long as they benefit from attack, that's good, and then also it gives survivability. If you want to really just focus on speed, you can just run the Giant Tree set, providing 6% speed. She doesn't heal, so this whole thing is useless. It's literally just for the fact that you get 6% speed. You can also do the same thing with the Forge set, as it also increases speed. So if you just happen to have good usable pieces there while you farm for something else, maybe. If you just want the speed effect, then you can run that. If you want the best damage for your Yao Guang, then there's two sets you can really run. One of them is going to be the Unclaimed Desolation set, which increases the wearer's crit rate by 4% and crit damage by 4% whenever an enemy is defeated, stacking up to 10 times. So, depending on the mode and the bosses, would depend on how much you're stacking this up. Nonetheless, it gives you 4% crit rate, so that's good, and it gives you up to 40% crit damage, which is also good. One of the only planar ornaments that can really affect your damage to a noticeable degree, as long as you have a solid amount of enemies to kill. On the flip side, you can also run Izumo, which increases attack by 12%, which is kind of whatever. as again, it doesn't impact anything for her except her basic attack. It's mainly that running her alongside another character that is Elation would increase her crit rate by 12%, so in this case you would run Sparksy, or if you're watching this in the future, it would be whatever Elation character you're running her alongside. Unfortunately, when she releases, you're going to have to wait to use this, but if you happen to have this set and you're pulling for Sparksy as well, you can run this on Yao Guang. Personally, I'm just going to recommend you to run one of the supportive sets. That's going to be the best option, but if you really want to optimize for damage, you can run one of these two depending on your situation. Or if you really just want to get max speed, like maybe you want to reach 200 plus speed in battle and you have her Lightcone, you're running 2p speed even, in that case you can also run Giant Tree or Forge. For the main sets on the relics, for the body, you want to run crit rate or crit damage corresponding to which one you need more. For the feet, you want to run speed. For the orb, you want to run HP percent or defense percent, just for survivability as nothing else really helps. And then for the link rope, you want to run energy regen rate. For the substats, your goals is really just speed, crit rate, crit damage, and then survivability. If you're running anything that has a requirement, then of course you want to hit that, and that mainly just matters with the speed set. Once you do farm the new set, you need 160 speed. Regardless, even if you're not running the set, you want to get over 160 speed. That's the general goal for Yao Guang. 160.1 speed or higher is going to be a goal for anyone. The more you can get past that, the better. If you're able to get 200 speed to get 3 turns within the first cycle of MLC, that's going to be ideal. Past that, just get crit rate, crit damage, just get a healthy ratio. She has crit rate traces. She also has her brand new set that's going to give her crit rate. Depending on the ornament, you can get some more crit rates. So in battle, just aim to have 80 to 90% crit rate. If you're able to have more than that, then even better. Crit damage, just get it as high as possible. And then past that, you would just focus on HP percent, defense percent, effect res even. Of course, a more priority would be if you're running Broken Keel to get 30% effect res. But you don't really have to focus on attack or anything like that because attack is really not going to do anything. So again, mainly focus on speed, 160.1 or higher regardless of your build. If you're able to get more than that, then of course the better. If you're running Keel, then 30% effect res next, then just focus on crit rate, crit damage, just get good ratios, and then survivability past that. And that is the full Yao Guang guide. I do hope you found this video helpful. If you did, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you're new to the channel or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this along with all other types of style content, and I'll see you later. Peace out.